It is now 10 o'clock on January 21st, and second snow of the month has fallen across portions of North Georgia. And this snow was a much different snow. We were talking about it for several days, how we wouldn't see as much snow as what we got January 10th, but how the impacts in many cases on the roads would be greater. And that's because we're in the middle of this deep freeze, very cold temperatures, and that created very slick conditions out there. Good evening to our meteorologist Melissa Nord here with the 11 Alive Weather Impact Team. And this is a live camera in downtown Newnan, which is deserted right now. We can see the beautiful county courthouse and snow right there, but it's not just causing snow-covered grassy areas, elevated surfaces, but this time around, all the streets, all the pavement, because of how cold the temperatures are, those also became snow-covered, slick, and in the case of many of the metro Atlanta counties, more like an ice skating rink outside on this Tuesday evening. So our current road surface temperatures are below freezing, between 26 and 30 degrees. And for that reason, unless there is fresh salt or fresh sand or something to give you a little traction that's thrown on the roadway, it is very dangerous to be traveling outside right now. So a historic storm, not in the numbers in a sense for much of metro Atlanta, but a historic storm from the impacts that we saw in a few of our counties, and big picture historic for the southeast. We saw snow for the first time in some areas along the Gulf Coast in decades. In fact, they've got snow on the ground from the coast of Louisiana, Texas, Mississippi, Alabama, and Florida now, with that snow still coming down near Panama City and 30A. And now that snow reaching the ground in Charleston, the coast of North Carolina as well. And in Charleston, they're seeing the road conditions really deteriorate very quickly. But here in Atlanta, we just got the numbers in the last hour. Our total snowfall from this event, 1.1 inches. That was actually a new daily record, beating our old record for the day from 2014, which was just a trace. And I know that's not a huge record, but look at this. Our yearly snowfall, adding this with our early January snowstorm combined, we've now picked up 3.2 inches. That is the snowiest winter we've seen in Atlanta since the winter of 2017 and 2018. That's when we picked up 4.7 inches of snow. So snowiest winter in 8 years, and here we go. The snow is not new, no new snow is falling, but the roads are still treacherous out there first thing tomorrow morning. I do want to show you this. These are some of our snowfall totals from across the region. And what you'll notice on this map is, we'll go through kind of county by county. These are all areas south and east of Atlanta. We have Atlanta itself, 1.1 inches, okay? South side of town got about an inch. The top side of Atlanta, some areas didn't even get any snow. That was the sharp, incredibly sharp cutoff line that we knew we were gonna have. We didn't know where exactly it would set up. Would it be right over downtown? Would it be the top side of the perimeter, 10 miles further north into Cobb County? And hey, it was just below the Chattahoochee Rivers where that cutoff ended up being. So 1.1 in Atlanta. Barnesville out in Lamar County picked up 1.5 inches. We've got Covington, 1.3 inches. Decatur and DeKalb County, about 3/4 of an inch. 3/4 of an inch in eastern Griffin, East Griffin and Spalding County. Fayetteville, an inch. Hollandville, which is in the county next to Barnesville, so we have Pike and Lamar counties here, 1.3 inches there as well. Monroe out in Walton County, 3/4 of an inch. Newnan, 3/4 of an inch. And Sharpsburg down in Fayette County, Coweta County, about an inch of snow there as well. So for areas that got under an inch, okay, roadways even more treacherous is what I would say, because it was just enough, and the tires going on those roadways melted the snow a little bit, compacted it, and then it refroze with the cold ground. So very dangerous setup for driving through the overnight. The roads and the interstates are in some cases manageable, but once you get off those interstates, we've had reporters out there this evening, and I'll tell you what, it's an ice skating rink outside. There have been multiple accidents, even several hours after the snow finished. So still a lot of accidents that are out there, and many of those with our reporters just outside the station, even seeing some of those accidents in the aftermath of them. cars that just kind of, the brakes lock up and they slide and they don't stop until they hit something, right? To stop that momentum going in the same direction. Photo from earlier in Tucker, also photo from College Park as well. And you can see, we don't see the blacktop on the roadways, right? The snow as it came down, it didn't melt like it did 10 days ago. The snow stuck and it became very slick. At this point, the snow is gone though, so we're done with snowfall. Tonight, there is a hard refreeze. Very dangerous travel first thing tomorrow morning. Then by tomorrow afternoon, a little bit of improvement on the roadways. Let me show you our winter alerts. Yes, the snow's done, but because of the hazardous travel conditions created from the snow, the winter storm warning remains in effect through 7 o'clock tomorrow morning, really through sunrise. So this will include Fulton, DeKalb, Gwinnett, Clayton, Coweta, really all the counties in pink. A couple of counties that have winter weather advisories. Many schools are canceled tomorrow. There are some schools that are delaying by a couple of hours, Cobb being one of those. Also, there's some schools that are saying they're going to open normal operations. Douglas County says they're going to open normal operations tomorrow because they were just on the outskirts of that snow. So there are many different closings and delays for tomorrow. We've got those on 11alive.com if you want to learn more about those. But at this point, it's now been more than 50 hours straight at or below freezing here in Atlanta. 50 hours. Now, we have been talking about this for several days now. In fact, the end of last week, we were predicting that we would see more than 60 hours at or below freezing to start the week. And that's what's going to transpire. So next 12 hours for us, you notice there's no warming happening overnight. The numbers keep falling back. We're in the low 20s right now. We keep falling back into the teens in the overnight. And by first thing tomorrow morning, many of us might even be in the mid-teens. We'll have wind chills tomorrow in the single digits to start us off. By 11 o'clock tomorrow, you notice the numbers shooting up. So get a couple of hours of sunshine in here. We start to see that number going up. And by tomorrow afternoon, we'll make it up to a high of 37 here in Atlanta. That's going to help with some melting. The first thing in the morning, especially those first 2 hours after sunrise and before that, the roads are still going to be very dangerous, very icy. Our Angelina Salcido did talk to the mayor of Atlanta, Andre Dickens, on the phone, and he stands by his decision of where they treated the roads and where they didn't. But with our reporters driving around, I will tell you, there are many roads that look like an ice skating rink. Cars abandoned on the side of the road. A lot of those cars slid and they're stuck. They can't get up a hill or they can't get down a hill because they're stuck. So apparently Atlanta crews are going to be out there tonight trying to put some salt down on the roads and then put some sand. That's going to be one of their strategies. So she's going to talk more about that at 11 o'clock tonight on 11 Alive. But you notice here, after our very cold night, tomorrow we finally break this streak of temperatures at or below the freezing mark. So 37 tomorrow afternoon. It's going to be sometime between, I would say, noon and 3 o'clock, depending on which side of the perimeter you're on, that you finally bump above freezing. Not everybody's going to get there. There's going to be some parts of North Georgia that are still below freezing tomorrow. With the cold temperatures out there, there is a cold weather advisory tonight. Temperature dropped down to 17 here in Atlanta. The wind chills, I'll show you these hour by hour. We see them dropping down to the single digits to start off tomorrow morning, staying in the teens and low 20s through noon, and then finally by the afternoon climbing up to around 30 degrees. I do want to show you, though, the highs for tomorrow, because not everybody is going to see if I can get them up here. Highs tomorrow, here we go. Not everybody's going to see those temperatures above freezing. Northeast Georgia may not quite get above there. But with the sunshine, everybody should get a little bit of melting in tomorrow. What's going to melt? Is it all going to go away instantly? Not necessarily. Okay? The areas of road that see sunshine, especially if it's asphalt versus concrete, those are going to melt first. And that's because it has to do with albedo. What's the color of the pavement surface? Darker colors on the roadway absorb more energy from the sun and those heat up quicker. So those road surface temperatures should heat up quicker quickest tomorrow morning and help to melt all of that ice and the snow away. Areas that are in concrete will also get some melting, but it's going to be the shaded areas that I am particularly worried about that might stay a little tricky even into the afternoon. Whatever melts tomorrow but doesn't dry off on the roads is going to refreeze again as we get into tomorrow night for first thing on Thursday morning. Let me show you the 7-day forecast just so you can get an idea of where we're going. There's no big cold snap coming back in here, and we just haven't quite gotten out of it yet. Weather impact alert tomorrow morning, 17 the low, 37 the high, 22 on Thursday, so more cold spots Thursday morning, 40 Thursday afternoon. Luckily, we are headed back to the 50s by the end of the weekend. We'll have live coverage on 11 Live at 11 o'clock tonight, breaking down the latest with the roads, school closings, and what to expect for the morning commute.